officially Santiago de Cali, is Colombia's third largest city and the capital of Valle del Cauca. Founded on July 25, 1536, by Spanish conquistador Sebastián de Belalcázar. Cali has a rich history spanning nearly 5 centuries. Initially established as a Spanish outpost, Cali grew slowly during the period. It was primarily an agricultural center, with sugarcane plantations dominating the local economy. The city played a role in Colombia's independence movement, joining the cry for freedom on July 3, 1810, predating the national uprising by 17 days. After independence, Cali remained a relatively small town until the late 19th century. The arrival of the railroad in 1878 connected the city to the Pacific coast Buenaventura, spurring economic growth. This period saw the beginning of industrialization and the expansion of the sugar industry. In the mid-20th century marked a turning point for Cali. The city hosted the Pan American Games in 1971, prompting significant infrastructure development. This era also saw rapid population growth and urban expansion. Like many Colombian cities, Cali faced challenges related to drug trafficking and violence in the 1980s and 1990s. However, the city has shown remarkable resilience, implementing various social and urban renewal programs to address these issues. Cali is renowned for the world's capital of salsa, with a vibrant dance culture that attracts visitors from across the globe. The annual Feria de Cali, held since 1957, is a major cultural event showcasing this heritage. Today, Cali is an important economic center in Colombia. It hosts a diverse range of industries, including textile, paper, chemicals, and food processing. The city's strategic location near the Pacific coast continues to be a significant asset for trade. In recent years, Cali has focused on urban renewal and sustainability. The MIO or MIA mass transit system, inaugurated in 2009, has improved city mobility. The city has also invested in cultural initiatives and green spaces to enhance quality of life. Cali played a significant role in the 2021 Colombian protest, highlighting ongoing social and economic challenges. However, the city continues to work towards inclusive development and social equality. As of this year, Cali remains a dynamic, culturally rich city within a population of over 2 million and growing. It continues to be a major economic and cultural center in Colombia, known for its salsa music, colonial architecture, and vibrant Afro-Colombian heritage. The city is actively working to position itself as a hub for innovation and sustainable urban development in Latin America. Cali's history reflects the broader narrative of Colombia, a story of colonial legacy, struggle for independence, economic transformation, and resilience in the face of challenges. Today, it stands as a testament to the enduring spirit of its people and their commitment to progress and cultural preservation.
Buenas noches, Cali. Buenas noches, Colombia.
Welcome to Majesty's Sussex Report, Day 4 of the historic visit of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to Colombia, an initiative of the Office of the Vice President of Colombia and Archwell Foundation. We begin in the capital of Valle del Cauca. The agenda began with the Afro Women and Power Summit, where distinguished leaders and guests shared the stage with Vice President Francia Marquez Mina. For the Vice President and Minister of Equality and Equity, Francia Marquez Mina, and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, join in promoting spaces in which Afro women can think, reflect, and trace routes of action for the advancement of this population. More than a meeting point, they constitute, without a doubt, positive role models for millions of girls and women of the African diaspora. I've learned the meaning of care from my mother, a midwife. In the midst of scarcity and a health system, these women are, with their traditional practices, with their knowledge, accompanying women to give birth to life. It has been a challenge for women of the African diaspora, Black, Afro-descendant, Raizal, and Palanquero, to have access to places of power historically. Now the opportunity to repair and change the narrative in favor of diversity against racism and all types of discrimination is in the hands of society. Respect for diversity is fundamental to the development of any community, and this summit is the beginning of that dialogue. If you haven't had a chance to watch the summit of Mujeres Afro y Poder, so Afro Women and Power, I'd recommend you watch it if you have, the time, 40 minutes or so. I want to try and translate or voice over what the Vice President is saying. So I'll have that hopefully at the end of this episode, so you can always listen to that. But still go, and because Meghan is speaking English, and so is the other guest. And wasn't it great? Like, here's where everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, she speaks Spanish," and was just a beautiful way to start out their segment as part of the forum or summit. So it's really great information, and listening to also the VP talk about her experiences and some of the challenges that she's had. It's really in many ways inspiring. So I would recommend you to watch it, and I will see if I can leave the link to it in the description area. Okay. All right. After a quick change, they were headed off to the district of Agua Blanca, where the Vice President and Minister of Equity and Equality wanted to showcase a few of the social and cultural programs that are saving lives and transforming the reality and presumed trajectory of young people of the area. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle, with the VP, met with youth organizations of Cali, with a few of Archwell's Foundation's partners, which I didn't know. So I guess Archwell took some of their partners down also to Colombia, and to fully understand how they might be of service to these organizations. The VP, Francia Marquez Mina, intention was to secure long-term funding for these youth programs. A lot of them, unfortunately, only receive short-term funds, which means many of the programs that are vital for these areas cease to exist within a year or so. Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, were also invited to get on the dance floor, where they stunned all of those present with their salsa moves. Let's check it out. Bueno, sí. Camina. Rico, rico, rico. Y como dice mi coro que sigue ahí. Escucha mi salsa buena, abre la ventana. Escucha. Ahora estamos gozando hasta la mañana. Escucha mi salsa buena, abre la ventana. Ahora estamos gozando hasta la mañana. Melodía, melodía. Escucha mi salsa buena, abre la ventana. Ay, escucha mi salsa ahora. Ahora estamos gozando. I must admit, okay, I am so impressed with both of them. I mean, come on, like Megan has got some moves. Like honestly, she's got the moves, and I am aware that she took classes. I think was it in uni she did? Yeah, I think it was at university. She took some salsa dances and stuff lessons, but Prince Harry, I was like, okay, all right, I see you, all right, way to go. I loved it. I love how spontaneous, joyful. I love the kiss, like that sweet kiss. I just love the joy in the kid's face, and just the whole nature of it. If you listen to some of it, the audio, I didn't play the original audio because copyright and all that kind of stuff. But you can hear the people just like, okay, go, all right, show us your moves and stuff like that. Just like encouraging them, and some of them being quite impressed actually with Megan. So it was just a delightful thing to watch. Really delightful. Just warm my heart. And the official last event that the Sussexes attended to is the Petronio Álvarez Festival. And before heading there, and I'll just give us all a little bit of background as to what the festival signifies, or the importance of the festival rather. And that is where we also heard Prince Harry say hello and greeted the audience in Espanol. And then, of course, he relied on his beautiful wife to translate for him. In the vibrant city of Cali, Colombia, a cultural phenomenon comes alive each August. The Petronio Álvarez Festival, affectionately known as El Petronio. It transforms the city into a pulsating celebration of Afro-Colombian heritage. Picture this. The air filled with intoxicating aroma of Pacific cuisine, the rhythmic beats of marimbas and drums echoing through the streets, and the sea of people waving white handkerchiefs in glorious and joyful unison. This is the essence of El Petronio. Born in 1996 from a vision to honor the rich musical traditions of Colombia's Pacific coast, the festival has grown into a cultural juggernaut. It's named after Petronio Álvarez, the king of Cururao, a humble musician whose legacy now resonates through time. For 6 days, over 600,000 people converge on the Unidad Deportiva Alberto Galindo. This is a stadium, or the ground, sorry, creating a vibrant tapestry of sound, color, and flavor. Musicians compete in categories like marimba, ensemble, and traditional chants, their melodies telling stories of resilience and hope. El Petronio is more than just a festival. It's a lifeline for many. It pumps over 60 billion Colombian pesos into the local economy, providing over 1,700 opportunities, either as entrepreneurs or businesses. It's a stage where the often marginalized Afro-Colombian community shines brightly, showcasing their invaluable contributions to Colombia's cultural mosaic. As the sun sets, that's when the party really, really, really starts. Each evening of the festival, the city doesn't sleep. Period. Instead, it pulsates with the energy of thousands dancing to the rhythms of their ancestors. Their white handkerchiefs waving like flags of unity and celebration. This is El Petronio, a testament to the enduring spirit of Afro-Colombians culture, where every beat, every dish, and every crafted piece tells the story of triumph over adversity. In the words of the festival director Ana Capote, El Petronio has been instrumental in showcasing Colombia's multicultural identity. It's not just a festival, it's a vibrant reminder that despite centuries of challenges, the Afro-Colombian spirit remains unbroken, its culture thriving and music resonating across generations. The Petronio Álvarez Festival was the last official engagement of the Sussexes. They enjoyed the rich culture of the Colombian Pacific Coast region and were able to, in some ways, I guess, understand how art and culture are the engine of economic growth and development in this area. With more than 10,000 people in attendance, Prince Harry and Meghan greeted the crowd in Spanish, while Prince Harry did it first. And then, after he couldn't do more Spanish, he utilized the fluency of his wife, Princess Meghan, to translate for him. But I will say that the audience there, over 10,000 people, were just elated and burst out in cheers as Prince Harry greeted them in Spanish.
Buenas noches, Cali. Buenas noches, Colombia. Muchas gracias, señora vicepresidenta. Can you help me translate?
Of course, claro que sí.
Thank you for your warm welcome.
Gracias por su cálida bienvenida.
Thank you for your beautiful culture.
Gracias por su cultura hermosa.
And thank you for your incredible hospitality.
Y mil gracias por su hospitalidad increíble. Me siento igual. Muchísimas gracias a todos y todas y disfruten la noche.
Buenas noches. Démosle un saludo muy especial al príncipe.
Let's give a really warm welcome to the Prince and the Duchess. Also, let's give our thanks to the Vice President, Francia Marquez, to the Prince and the Duchess. Thank you very much for honoring our city with your presence, for honoring our culture, the culture of the Pacific. Cali is home of everyone. It's the land of reconciliation. Welcome to Cali. Please come visit as often. they received a marimba, which is a musical instrument, as a symbol of the heart and commitment to Afro-Colombian causes of this region, a symbol basically to remind them of the region and to remind them of the causes that the Afro-Colombian people are fighting for or that are trying to maintain in the region. Both the governor and the vice president gave thanks to Harry and Meghan for being there and for celebrating the Cali culture, understanding it, and for showing the world that Colombia is a wonderful place filled with diversity and a place to come and visit and have a really great time. She is the queen of incoherence, the vice president of the poor, the vice president of the nobodies, the formula of the president who at all times brands the oligarchies and monarchies as genocidal, fascist slave owners, brought to Colombia their false royal highnesses. Harry is the living incarnation of Daddy's boy, who does not renounce his noble title because it brings him millions of dollars in income and because he longs for the pageantry that members of the British monarchy receive. That is why he is now playing the role of a soap opera monarch. What we don't know is how much does he charge to be a soap opera monarch for this act? Or is he doing it for free for 4 days in Colombia? And why is this excess of security measures? Perhaps is he now a head of state? Is he and his wife now kings? We already knew that Francia Marquez likes expensive whims. She's gotten accustomed very quickly to the comfortable life and to the tasty life. But now we discover that she also likes to surround herself with aristocrats. Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the episode thus far, and thank you for being here. And thank you for all the wonderful get well messages. I am on the mends. I actually thought for a little bit, I'm like, is this COVID? Because I was feeling just awful. And I did the COVID test and came back negative. So I think my body was just run down, but it still feels run down. Like I need to rest. I was getting this cold, like there is a different kind of chill or cold that you get. I don't know, for those of you who are in the UK, in the winter, the UK, like the cold, chill cold that gets into your bones, like that's the kind of cold I was feeling. I was like, just a bit of fever and all of that. I just feeling absolutely awful, but I'm feeling better, so that's why I'm getting this done and happy to get it done. So thank you all very much for the wonderful get well messages. I really appreciate it. So I wanted to take a look at some of your comments on the last episode, which was Colombia Day 3. Let's take a scroll down here. Maggie, thank you. Thank you very much. That's my intention. So Raven, Sharon, I think the educator doesn't go away, and I always am curious. So I want to know beyond the surface, and if there are things that I find interesting, I want to find out more. And that's one. It's sort of an issue also, because when doing this kind of thing, because I get so deep into researching, and I'll spend half a day reading stuff just to spend 6 minutes or 5 minutes telling you about it, but because it's just I want to check other sources, or I kind of want to understand what this issue is exactly, or how does this affect this kind of thing. And sometimes I go down into a rabbit hole like, I don't know, the Mad Hatter or something. So, but yeah, I am, I think I love to learn, and I'm always curious. And I like that exchange of knowledge. So when you folks know things or you tell me things, and I know sometimes I'll be saying things that you may already know, but if there's someone that doesn't, I'm always happy that we get the proper information and we educate each other. Um, Joan Garcia, hello Joan. Hi Antonio, I just caught the replay. I've been immersed in the Democratic National Convention. Oh, me too. In bed. um, Thank you for the beautiful travelogue. The video reminded me of my trip to Africa. Oh, I love how Harry and Meghan support each other in everything. Feel better. Thank you so very much. Take care. Thank you, Joan. I've loved the Democratic National Convention. I have problems sometimes understanding how the other side can't, like, it's such tunnel vision on the other side. How can you really vote for a person like this is going to affect the rest of your life, right? Don Lemon was out interviewing people on the streets, and I would say 90% of the people he interviewed were either person of color or a black person, and almost that 90% basically said, I'm voting for Trump. And I just kept getting angrier and angrier, and people, like, you just don't, like, this is important. It's important. I've never understood how cavalier people take their voting right. Like, there are people who were beaten, there are people who were killed, there are people who suffered unmentionable things in order for you to have the right to vote, for us to have the right to vote. And some people just don't do it. Some people just, oh, well, he's charismatic. He gave me a check. He didn't give you the check, dude. That check didn't come from him. He held that check up so he can put his name on it. Like, I know, it amazes me sometimes when I know more about a country's politics than the person who lives there. And I'm like, why are you not, like, I don't expect you to always be on it, but in an election year, an election is so consequential. Know where the party stands, know where the leaders stand. Oh, okay, I'm going to get too passionate about this. Oh, I have to say this, Gus. Gus, man, the VP son. I love that kid. Like, he started getting emotional about his dad, and I just started like weeping. I'm like, I'm with you. I'm with you, dude. So proud of his dad. So proud. He's like, that's my dad. That's my dad. And I was like, I feel you. I feel you. I feel that emotion. And it's so disgusting. Disgusting how people like Ant Coulter and some of these other moronic, heartless, evil doers have written these awful things about that. I don't understand how they live with themselves. I don't understand. And, when I think about the issues that young men are having, and identity and all this other stuff, and this toxic idea of what masculinity is or needs to be, this is why we haven't moved forward. It's because it's people like that and all the other morons that wrote these awful things about this young man. He is more of a man than they will ever be, and she will ever know. Like, ugh. Let me move on. And yes, Joan, I absolutely love how Harry and Meghan support each other. Jackie said, hi, Jackie. My cousin is married to a Colombian man. They both went there 2 months ago. Said the country is prospering, modern. People are friendly. Colombians are either biracial, triracial, black, Spaniard, Indian, native, heritage. Excuse me. White Colombians are the minority, 20%. Most are decent. Only about half or so are prejudiced, snobby, but not crazy rednecks like in the US and the UK. Cops mostly are respectful, and only sort of drunk people get to smack down. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Having said that, though, I will say that my experience is biased because every time I've gone there, and I was saying this to a squatty the other day, when I've gone, I've stayed um, in a, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say like a rich neighborhood. That sounds really pretentious, but not a rich neighborhood. Like a good neighborhood. Um, because with the exchange, currency exchange, you're able to afford more than you could afford. Let's say if I were to go maybe to London, right? To London, I'm like, oy. Well, I'm not going to London anytime soon, anyways. But you know what I mean. So I've stayed in really upscale kind of neighborhood where the hotel was, and so my experience is very much, of being part of that neighborhood. So wherever I go, and I stay away from any sort of warning, either that I've read in my research, or I always speak with a concierge or people at the front desk, and I'll say, hey, here's some of the things I'm planning to do this week or whatever. Here's the type of person I am. This is the things I like. Um, where would you recommend not to go? What should I not do? Right? And they'll usually say, okay, stay out of this. Make sure if you call a cab, do this, and I'll get the lowdown on all of that. And I listen to what they say, what they tell me. I don't do anything I wouldn't do at home. And if anything, I take it one step back, right? I'm very mindful. I'm not at home, and I need to be careful. So I'm very mindful with stuff like that. But I love Colombia. Colombia, I think, it's having its renaissance because for so long it's been in conflict, right? With narco traffic and the guerrilla, the FARC, and all of that. So once this peace treaty came about, and there's been such development and just amazing stuff has been happening in Colombia, and you know there is going to be a clash, right? Because I'll talk about this tomorrow, hopefully, in the good, the bad, and the ugly in regards to media coverage, and especially also how Vice President Francia Marquez Mina is treated in some corners of the media, especially conservative media. It's quite interesting, the parallels between how Megan is treated and how she is treated also. Very, very, very similar. It's like out of the same playbook. Um, but I love Colombia, knock on wood, and I've always had great experiences there, and hope to continue to have them. I've only been to Bogota and Cartagena, but next is Medellin. I want to go there, and I was thinking also of Cali, uh, but I'll see. But there's other places too that's just absolutely beautiful. Um, okay, Wendy, great job. Very good. Thank you. Susie Q, magical. I love that word, magical. Thank you. And Connie, okay, Connie. See, I stopped myself. I stopped myself. I was gonna do. I swear to you, like because Baron does that all the time, like it gets into your head, and I'm like Connie, and I'm like, no, 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 no. You're not Baron. You're not Baron. Like, stop it. Hello, Connie. Hello, Antonio. Listening on replay. Thank you for the history of Colombia. Honestly, I wish I could go there, but I'm far away. Love the podcast. Thank you so very much. Listen, Connie, there are these things called planes. And Connie's going to slap me in a minute. But I understand because sometimes, especially you have to connect and stuff, becomes a pain. When when I was there last with my parents, I we usually if it's a, you know if it's going to be an overnight flight or something, and we have to connect, we'll usually stay at our first stop and have a stopover and just be like 2 days or something, and then go to the destination the next 2 days or day or whatever, right? So it's not that hard. At this time around, when we were headed to Cartagena, I decided to like switch it around. So I was like, okay, we're going to go straight, direct. We're going to just because we're stopping in Bogota. We had a layover and then to Cartagena. And then on the way back, I thought we'll go into Cartagena 2 days before our flight, and sorry, go into Bogota 2 days before and stay in Bogota for 2 days. Um, so my mom, we got into Bogota at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I was expecting the lounge to be open. And they were doing repairs at the lounge, so they were only allowing like a very limited amount of people, and the lounge was already full, so we couldn't get in. My mom was so mad at me because she's like, "We just had a long flight, and now I have to sit here for 3 hours." I was like, "I'm so sorry." Um, but she was game after. She was just like, "Okay, let's go explore. Let's go walk around." So we walked from the airport and waiting for certain shops to open and stuff. But anyways, it was good. It was good. So Connie, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Um, Jennifer, thank you, Antonio. Appreciate the information. My pleasure, always. Angela, thank you, Antonio, for the history lesson. My pleasure. And Megan and Harry trip was beautiful and full of history. Oh, it absolutely was. Absolutely was. I learned a lot too. It's. I mean, as I said, like I get curious about certain things, and I want to know. So I'm happy you folks enjoy it also. Um, Green, beautiful history tour. Thank you. Um, HMALD. Thank you, Antonio, for sharing. It is quite informative. My pleasure. Hugh said, thank you, Antonio, for schooling us. Exquisite presentation. Well, I'm an educator, Hugh. I have to school everyone. No, no. I don't mean it that way. I'm just a curious person. I get very curious about something, and then I just need to know it. I need to know, I need to understand. Um, it's the same with, for example, um, Bianco, the well, he was actually a prince that was captured, and when they brought him to Cartagena and sold him into slavery, and then he escaped with the other 30 people. Like I got so fascinated. I wanted to know more and more and more about this person and his courage and why did he have this determination. And then I found out on another stuff I was reading that he was actually a prince. So his upbringing, like, he he's royalty. He's like, what do you mean you're putting me in chains, right? uh, so there's a certain kind of demeanor and attitude that I'm sure he had, um, that made him the way he was. I think in some ways. Um, Hugh, thank you. Essie, hello, squaddies. Hello. Shirley, hello. Thank you, Shirley. Um, Uraka, Uraka. Me and my 9-member family. Nine. Ooh, that's awesome. That's a party. Family is going to Colombia the 14th of September. After watching, please, Harry and Meghan, scroll to Colombia. Didn't know Colombia was so rich in history and everything else. Colombia, we can't wait. Yes, yes. Listen, if you're heading anywhere like Bogota or Cartagena and you want to know anything that I know, I will gladly share it with you. Just leave me a note, or you can email me and I'll email you back. Um, I, I think you're going to love it. I hope you love it. It's a wonderful place. The people are wonderful. I always caveat that stuff, and I always say there's always a rotten apple in a bunch of apples, right? So just remember that one person can be up to no good. So that's all. Just be mindful. But it's a wonderful place, great country, and don't do any silly things. So if you're like my brother who likes to take off, he's like, oh, I don't know, I met this person, and they took me here, and we went there, and I'm like, yeah. Well, people will do what they want to do, but I'm just being cautious. But it's going to be wonderful. I love it there. Love it there. Can't wait to go back. E.B. Lynn, excellent. Thank you for the history. That's my pleasure. Mel, great. Okay, thank you. Delphine, wow, I'm so impressed. Proud and happy for an amazing future for the love and community and people. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. It's so interesting because as I kept doing the research, I was like, gosh, the determination, right? And the sort of, and one of the things that they did, so they would capture people from these different coastal regions in Africa. And so let's say, for example, they'll have everyone from Nigeria, right? Or that particular area. So what they would do would separate them. So it's not like if, let's say, 20 people from Nigeria were captured, they didn't keep the 20 together. They would then divide them up. So you will now be sold off with other people that are not from your region. And that way, because it's different dialects and stuff, so they wouldn't be able to communicate and sort of get together and you know what I mean, right? So that whole thing, that's why also in San Basilio de Palenque, they have that mixture of the language, right? They speak Spanish, but then they speak Palanquero. And Palanquero is a mixture. It's not a mixture just of one African dialect. It's a mixture of many. So because it was just, they were grouped that way. It's fascinating stuff. Lola Love, wonderful presentation. Thank you for putting it. My pleasure always. Sharon Smith said, thank you, Antonio. This is so moving. I am so proud of the descendants of Cartagena. Thank you for the history, visuals, and elaborating on Prince Harry and Meghan's purpose and commitment to these beautiful people. I love Harry's response. We're working on it. Oh, gosh, me too. They have done so much with this visit and continues to educate the world. But without people like you, you're willing to put in the work to shine light. We would, no, okay, you got me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Captain Cali, thank you, Antonio. My pleasure always. Joyce Anderson, good Wednesday evening, Antonio. Everyone, magnificent. My pleasure. Fuan. Is it Ann Fu or Fu Ann? Because for some reason I keep thinking it's Ann Fu, but I'm just gonna go with what it says there. Fu Ann. Which is absolutely. Deborah, thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for this. My pleasure. Always. Thank you, all of you. Thank you so much for your comment. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I love reading them. I'm sorry I don't get to them often to kind of read them out on the podcast. But assure yourself that I read all of them always. Thank you so very, 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 very much. And Sharon, part of my intention is always to, as I'm curious about everything, I can absolutely just I can present this is what's happened, right? And but underneath that surface, I'm always curious. I'm always like, well, why this, or how come that happened, or and I'm always digging to find out. And sometimes I do research that I never bring to you folks because I'm like, they're not gonna. It's just gonna be boring. They're gonna be like, we don't care about that. And other times I was like, well, this is gonna be a really good story, and I want them to know this too. And I think this whole Colombia trip, there's been so many stories, and there's so much more I can actually tell from the stuff that I've read and I've dug into. But then I'll be 2 hours talking and no one will listen. So, but thank you very much. Anyways, thank you. Tomorrow, I'm going to give you a preview right now, and tomorrow, God willing, I will do the good, the bad, the ugly, and I'm looking at how the media coverage was, and looking at also how Vice President Francia Marquez Mina is treated in the media. I'm telling you, parallel stories. It's like I don't know, template booklet of how Megan is treated and how she's treated, and it's conservative media. It's these people that this one particular also media group, and the parallels are so interesting. And the person he's this billionaire. He actually lives in the UK. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? So that's it. I'm not going to take up any more time. Thank you, folks. Hasta mañana. Ciao, ciao. In a world increasingly dominated by misinformation and toxic narratives, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have once again proven their commitment to making a positive difference. Their recent visit to Colombia, facilitated by the Archwell Foundation and the Office of the Vice President of Colombia, wasn't at all anything like a royal tour. It was a meaningful contribution to the communities they touched. However, despite the clear impact of their efforts, the British media has continued its relentless campaign to undermine and vilify the couple. The Sussexes' visit to Colombia was marked by a series of significant contributions aimed at uplifting and empowering marginalized communities. In Cartagena, the Archwell Foundation donated new drumming sets to Escuela Tambores de Cabildo, a local drum school dedicated to preserving Afro-Colombian culture heritage. This contribution not only supports the school's growing enrollment, but also ensures that a vital piece of Colombian culture identity continues to strive. In the historic village of San Basilio de Palenque, the first free African town in the Americas, the foundation made critical investments to provide local children with a secure environment to explore, learn, and connect. This initiative, deeply rooted in the community's history, underscores the Sussexes' commitment to preserving cultural heritage and supporting the well-being of future generations. Additionally, the Archwell Foundation expanded its socio-emotional gym program at Colegio La Giralda, promoting emotional resilience, conflict resolution, and peace among young students. This initiative highlights the Foundation's dedication to social emotional learning, a critical component in building stronger, more resilient communities. Yet despite these undeniable contributions, the British media has chosen to focus on a false and negative narrative, from questioning the purpose of the trip to insinuating inappropriate behavior. The media's attempt to discredit the Sussexes have reached new lows, and every time I think they can't go any lower, they surprise me. Their coverage has been nothing short of a smear campaign aimed at distracting from the positive impact the couple continues to have on a global scale. The media's obsession with tearing down the Sussexes, regardless of the truth, is not only shameful, but also indicative of a deeper issue within the British press. Their relentless bullying and baseless criticism serves no purpose other than to perpetuate a toxic cycle of negativity. It's time to recognize these tactics for what they are, a desperate attempt to remain relevant by dragging down those who are genuinely working to make the world a better place. In contrast, Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, visit to Colombia was a resounding success. Their engagement with local communities, their promotion of cultural preservation, and their support for youth empowerment all reflects a couple deeply committed to creating positive change. While the British media continues its campaign of negativity, the Sussexes remain focused on what truly matters, making a difference. As we look back on this trip, it's clear that the Sussexes' impact far outweighs the baseless criticism they face. Their work in Colombia is a testament to their resilience, their dedication, and their unwavering commitment to doing good in the world. It's time to celebrate their efforts and recognize the positive change they are bringing to communities around the globe.